Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tawana Rivers. This is the 10K Project, and we are celebrating with the founders of Creative Homies. They are founders number 100. And so we are so excited this evening to host these amazing founders on such a wonderful milestone for us here at the 10K Project. And so I'd love to introduce you to Cyrus and Wale. I'm going to pull up the campaign page, go over the details of the deal, and then I'm going to turn it over to these handsome gentlemen to tell us all of the amazing things that they are doing. All right, so let me share my screen. One moment. We'll also be putting the campaign link in the chat throughout the evening. We'll also be putting it on Facebook. So gentlemen, you don't have to worry about that at all. Okay, you guys should be able to see my screen. This campaign is on smallchange.co. They are a real estate-based platform. And so Creative Homies is looking to raise, looks like $750,000 maximum goal. They've already exceeded their minimum. So congratulations, gentlemen. They're at 84,100. They have 29 investors. That's really good for 29 investors. Really, really good. 125 days left to invest. The minimum is $500. And so we have here, we don't come to Small Change often, so I'll spend just a few more minutes than I usually do, kind of going over the layout of the plan of the page. So we've got the offering highlights here. We also have all of your legal documents are listed here, right? You also have details about the project, about the team. You know, I always like to tell you guys to read the entire campaign page because there's always really good information out here that's going to help you determine if this opportunity fits into your portfolio. And so tonight, I'm not going to tell you anything differently. So look at all of the information that the founders have put out here, right? Look at the video. I don't know if the gentlemen are going to show you that this evening, but take time and look at the video as well. And I am just super, super excited to welcome Creative Homies to the 10K Project table. So with that said, I am going to stop sharing. And gentlemen, this is where I hand it over to you to tell us all about what you're doing, a little bit about yourself, how you got here, what are the plans, and just let us love on you a little bit this evening.
Thank you so much. We're truly honored to be bestowed with the 100th founder moniker. So hopefully we can live up to it.
I feel like we can. I feel like we would.
It feels very serendipitous. I'm feeling good. We have a little deck that we've shared. But before that, I guess we can just like talk like this and just kind of talk about how Wale and I met, some of our background, what we do. I'm actually a designer at Nike as my day job. Wale is also a creative. He's an amazing creative photographer for other brands under his freelance company. And that's kind of how we actually met. I designed NBA uniforms and was lucky enough to be able to be a part of the Prince uniform, and Wale was living in Minneapolis at the time. So we actually met in Minneapolis, and he ended up moving to Portland. And as creatives, and through the pandemic and all the injustices and just being cooped up and really just fiending for an outlet and a way to express ourselves and to really just dig deep into our crafts, and not wanting to be cooped up in our apartments. And we went on this journey looking for creative studio space. And for those of you that don't know, Portland is it's a very lopsided demographic here. So we initially moving to this city had that same gut reaction of like, yo, where's my people? Where are we meeting up? Where do we go? And in our experience trying to find studio space, we are trying to create some sort of form of that. And we had this idea to just get like a little studio, share the rent, and be very modular, quick and dirty with it. And through that process, through some friends that we have in town, we got linked up with hotel owners in Chinatown, Old Town Portland, which is like, it's like the Dumbo before Dumbo of Brooklyn. It's kind of like where all the creatives and like the culture is in Portland, and like the streetwear and like the cool like vibes of just people in the nightlife and all that stuff. And we were seeking space, and we had all these ideas for what we wanted to do. And some of the owners of the hotel were like, well, yeah, you could do all these things in one space. Like there's big enough spaces here you could rent. Or if you want to create generational wealth, you could buy that building over there and do everything you want to do without having to answer just anybody. And obviously we were like, I mean, yeah, we would love to do that. We don't know how, we don't have the money to do that, but we would love to put our best foot forward and like create something more than just for us, and allow others to come in to kind of build and pile onto their creative journeys. So that's kind of how, in a nutshell, looking for a studio snowballed into buying a building. We were able to raise the funds to buy the building, which was an accomplishment in itself. So we purchased the building for $2.1 million. We had 20% down, and we raised another 20% for holding costs and like just the overhead, which we're kind of coming to an end now. So we would really love and appreciate any of y'all and anybody that you know to be a part of it, because it was also important to us to not want to just like do a GoFundMe and like, hey, just give us money. Like, this is for the community. If we can get people in the community to have a piece of it, that's all for the better. So I'm going to open up our pitch deck that we pitched at another event here in Portland. It's called Pitch Black, similar to this. It's like a Shark Tank style pitch where you're pitching with 10 other businesses, and at the end of the night, the crowd, they vote on the pitch that they liked, and we actually got to win. We won with over 50% of the vote with 9 other businesses. So the community is really hungry for this. Portland is really hungry for this, and we're really excited to share. So let me just like pull up the deck so you can have some visuals and kind of see some of the renders and things, and we can talk about the actual things that will happen in the building and all that good stuff. Wale, feel free to just like tell me to shut up and get a word in. I'm sorry.
So I think like it was very important for Cyrus and I to really find a community and find people that looks like us and celebrate people that looks like us in a place like Portland, where you don't really find people that are of brown skin. So creating this ecosystem has been something that is such a great honor to Cyrus and I to bring to the community. So yeah, we're the Creative Homies. We consist of Cyrus and I, 2 Black kids from different parts of the world. Cyrus is from Austin, Texas, and I'm from the UK. I grew up in the UK, but I'm Nigerian by blood, and now live in Portland, Oregon. All right.
So this is the render of the building that we purchased. It's formerly known as the Columbia Shipping Enterprise Building, Supply and Ship Enterprise Building. It's on the corner of 4th and Gleason in Old Town. The building itself is 20,000 square feet. There's 4 stories, so the 3 above grade and then the 1 basement. And some of the contents of the branding are pretty important to us. So we're naming the building the Horizon. And this whole logo was derived even from the contents of the building. So all the plans that we have that we're about to lay out. So this part of this is like amazing just with Portland in itself. Like we've been so blessed to be able to have a community here that supports us. The down from the architects who did all these renders you're about to see, they discounted their rates to actually help fulfill this vision that we have. There's a design firm here in town that did all of our branding, like pro bono. And obviously the hotel owners who have kind of taken us under their wing and like helped us develop a business plan. We've also got construction and everybody in the works. They even were part of the investors. They believe in the idea that much. So it's really cool to be in a city like Portland that's smaller and close knit, and people do really chip in and want the best for everybody. So we've been really blessed to be able to have that support system around us.
It would be really hard to accomplish something like this in New York, buying an entire like industrial property. But this is basically the floor breakdown of the entire building. So I've got about 15 years in production. So the top floor, on the third floor, is going to be a full production studio. And this production studio is going to give the vibe like Milk Studio and Acne Studio that are both based in New York and LA. And then we're going to have a 1-bedroom residency apartment for artists, painters, shoemakers, designers. Anyone can come in and check into that 1-bedroom residency to do all of their creative endeavor. And then you can go, actually, sorry, just go to the second, you can go to
let's just dive in. So this is some of the renders for the space Wale was just talking about. And yeah, each floor is 5,000 square foot print. So there's going to be plenty of space. The studio is going to be known as Theory Studio. The residency will be known as the Lounge. And the second floor will be Theory Maker Space. So this is where designers, makers, creatives can get their hands dirty. Think of it like a gym for creatives. So if you are an artist and you're trying to like get your big ideas out, sometimes it's really hard to like get your full vision without the equipment that you need. So if you had a space that you could go where you could utilize the equipment, you could sharpen whatever those skills are that you have and not necessarily worry about like, how am I going to do this giant painting in my little studio apartment? I don't have a sewing machine. I don't have a 3D printer. So we're going to provide all of that equipment. And we're also going to have like a resource library and lounge. And there'll be a few private spaces on this floor if you have your own equipment, but just don't have a space and you want to have a little bit more of a curated layout for what it is you want to do in the space. So we'll be providing 3D printings, laser cutting, washing, drying, dyeing, everything that you could potentially need to just explore your creative path. So we'll have a membership. It'll be a little bit tiered. So there could be a day pass. There could be a 10-day pass or a full access pass. And each of those would have different credits to be able to use the equipment on this floor. And so the second and the third floor that we've just gone through are more so private. And these next floors on the first floor and in the basement are open to the public.
So on the first floor is going to be a full interactive gallery space, a coffee shop, and a wine bar by night. And also a small boutique store is going to be accompanying that entire floor. This floor can also double down as a basically event space for anyone who wants to rent the place out for any event. So there's numerous of businesses here. And Portland is also known for its coffee. So having a coffee place where everyone can sit down and chill and kind of get to know one another. So that's the first floor. It's good. Oh, also the gallery is going to be called Contracts, and then the wine bar and coffee shop is going to be called Complimentary.
And the basement is going to be a lot of fun. So personally, my family, I have a long connection to the music industry. My dad was B.B. King's drummer for over 30 years. My grandpa is also He's in this render here. You can see him, King Coleman. He was an R&B singer, Apollo Hall of Fame DJ at Harlem. So music is a big part of my life growing up, and obviously a lot of ours, I can imagine. So we were wanting to create a jazz bar vibe that could also mesh with like young up and coming artists and be all sorts of potential for different performances, whether it's like spoken word, actual jazz, a DJ night, or like a Leon Bridges or somebody or who's wanting to have like a very intimate setting instead of like a big stadium. So we're trying to provide a few different aspects to this basement. And then there'll also be a speakeasy called the Black Note, which will be a bit more private for some of those artists to either lounge before they go out or to be rented for private events, private parties, things like that. And that's kind of the summation of all of the different businesses. And we really feel like the Horizon will connect, inspire, empower the Black BIPOC community in Portland. This was from the one and only event we've had in the space so far. In about 2 weeks, we had over 400 people come by, and we raised 80 grand. Half of that was in the Small Change platform, and then half of that was also through art and food and drinks and donations, and everyone's eagerness to help us get this off the ground. And it's really unique. It's an ecosystem that can really just thrive in every single floor and aspect. Like there's so many natural connections that will happen, and we really hope to be a beacon of the community here.
One of the important part about this entire building also is this place called Portland. We have Nike's based here, Adidas is based here. We've got all the shoe brands in the world that is based here, and all different kind of advertising agencies. All of these people bring people from all over the world to come work here. So there isn't really a community built for those people. So this building will be able to house all of those people and welcome it in and create that culture that the city itself is like really missing. But the entire thing, like as Sarah said earlier, it's a gym for creative. So this entire building is an ecosystem itself. You can literally start with an idea on the second floor, go up to the third floor to photograph or create whatever you need to create on the third floor, bring it down to the first floor and show it in the gallery, and then also sell on the first floor too. And while you're creating, you need a bit of good music to get you going and get your head going. Go down straight to the jazz club and listen to some good music and go back up and create again. So this place just holds you and it carries you on and it inspires you and it empowers you to be a better person and to do good in the community. And one of the bigger things that Cyrus and I really loved about this idea was also curating the mind of young artists from high school. So kids from high school are allowed to come into the building, learn about art, you know, tell them you can make a business out of this, because most people don't really know how to create a business out of being an artist. So this building will be hoping to high school kids to come in for a day and enjoy themselves and see what they can actually really create. So our job is to really foster that art and make Portland and put Portland on the map for being a creative hub. So be here with us.
Yeah, thank y'all. That's kind of the pitch. We'd love to answer any questions.
Nice, very beautiful space. The design and the clean lines, absolutely beautiful. And I love that it's open. So, I mean, I'm a semi creative, right? But that openness allows the freedom to really be adventurous in creation. So, I mean, I feel that in the space just by looking at the renderings. Congratulations, guys, for acquiring such a beautiful building to begin with. I mean, the outside of that building is absolutely beautiful. And to see what you're going to do with the inside is wonderful. I've got a couple of questions as we let the community put some questions in the Q&A, I've got a couple also. Let's talk a little bit more about the membership. So, how does this beautiful space make money? I know you said there will be membership packages, but let's talk about what some of those are. What's the price points for them? What's the different levels of the packages available?
Sure. So as far as the top 2 floors go, it's a little bit more geared towards creatives. The second floor, a day pass would be about like $95. So to come in and then use the equipment, you'd have a certain amount of credits that would be attached to that purchase. And if you needed to print or do some 3D printing or something specific that required specialty equipment more than you're allotted, you can purchase more credits. And then the
third floor is going to be basically, you can rent a day at the studio, or you can actually just rent the entire day out, which is going to be equivalent to around 1,700 to rent the entire space out every day. And all you can do an half day for half of that price. That's how that's going to go. And then for the first floor, it's wine by day and a wine bar. And this would be the first owned natural wine bar of Black people in Portland. So it's going to create and drive more people in no matter what. And for the gallery space, we'll get a commission from whatever the artist sells from there. But also it doubles down as an event space. So an event day would have a full rate and an half day rate for businesses. And there's quite a lot of business and a lot of creative help. And Cyrus, you can talk about the bar.
Sorry. Yeah. To speak to the memberships a little bit more, sorry, I was slipping up. $35 for a day, $95 for a standard membership, and $295 for unlimited access. So there's different tiers for that space. But then the bar in itself, like, we expect the bar to probably even cover the overhead for the whole building, just with the nature of that business and the amount of people that will come in nightly. There will be a full kitchen. There'll be a food menu. We'll have private events, like if there's a concert, obviously ticket sales. We'll have merch. We'll have all the things you would expect. And then there's an ability to also rent the space for a fee too, that would cover the costs that you would expect to make in a night. So that's kind of like the general framework for the money part of it. Also, like, what Wale and I did is we have 2 different LLCs, and one is the building owner and one is the business operator. Okay. So our business operating LLC is in control of all these business entities, and that's what's paying the real estate holding company that everyone is investing in. So that's kind of how we have it structured, so that we can maintain and curate the actual space without having to be a traditional real estate company that's just looking for leases and butts and seats. We can actually curate the experience from start to finish, top to bottom, and have an actual something that we can all be proud of, and have instead of like relying on somebody who may not mesh well with a different business, or they might have a different idea for what they want to do with the space. So we can have a little bit more control and receive feedback and adapt as we go along.
Very, very good. What's the marketing plan?
Oh, we already hire an advertising firm already to be our main design firm. So they basically gave us our entire design brand a pro bono fee. For marketing plan, this is already taken off already in Portland. I mean, we're like mostly #1 spoken to people in Portland. We've gone on TV. We've talked to a lot of people. The city, the commissioner, we have a meeting with the commissioner of the city coming up in a couple of weeks here. The governor is invested. Everyone in the community is invested. It travels by word of mouth easily. But beside that, we're going to put more effort into people like Wyden and Kennedy, who actually want to represent us and help us get this to the elevated mark. Part of plan is also buying ad space in magazines such as the New York Times and talking to people. We currently have a PR team that actually represent us and the entire building. So they've been doing many work to getting the word out to everyone.
Shout out to Portland for rallying around you guys. I mean, it sounds like, I mean, when you say pro bono more than twice,
Yeah.
that lets me know that this city has truly embraced you guys. I mean, that's what's up.
Yeah, I mean, the pro bono work, I mean, was 6 months of free design work to get
Wow.
it going. And trust me, it's just the beginning of what it's going to come of this beautiful thing.
Also, this is the first forum publicly we've been able to say this piece.
Yeah.
So as far as the renovation plans and the entire fundraise that we're trying to do in addition to this investment portion, we've been looking at SBA lenders to be able to cover the actual building costs, cover the renovation plans and the holding costs and the FF&E, like the furniture, fixtures,
Right, right.
which loops into around $4.75 million. And we've just gotten a letter of intent, of interest, from an SBA lender. So there's a few other micro lenders that fit into this puzzle piece. So there's like the portion that we've already put in. There's the portion that these micro lenders will put in, which is around 700 grand. And then this is all kind of broken down in like our pro forma, which you can see in the business plan. So we finally, like, we've been waiting for this moment to like actually have like a path forward to actually get the financing to like press go. We have all this interest. So we finally heard back a couple weeks ago, and in the conversations with those other lenders to kind of get everything teed up to kick off. So if all that goes well this week or the next week, we expect to hopefully be starting our renovations at the end of October to open up officially in the spring or summer of next year. So it's just, it's like herding cats sometimes. So we just like are in the middle of all that right now. But as soon as we got that news from some of our brokers we've been working with, we about jumped out the ceiling. So
no, that's a big deal when it all finally comes together, right? So let's stay with the numbers a little bit longer. Let's talk about revenue projections. I mean, when I think about all of the spaces that you have carved out, I think about what I think those numbers are going to be, right? But what do the numbers look like? So when we're looking at this from a potential investment standpoint, what is the annual revenue projections over the next 3 to 5 years that you're looking for the business to bring in?
So we have a pro forma built out for about 4 years. Let me just pull up some of this so I can be a little bit more accurate. So we've also, like, it's kind of a delicate game, right? Like, we are doing projection-based numbers. So we've done market analysis in Old Town. We've looked at different museums. We've looked at different bars. We have so many different like businesses that wrap up into one. So we don't want to be too confident and also don't want to be too unconfident. But we've reserved about 800 grand to come through in year one of our operating, and then it kind of steadily grows to 2 to 3, 3.5 million as a collective from the entire building businesses. So each one of these businesses kind of has its own breakdown. So depending on how granular you want to go, like, we can project down to the bar, down to the event space, the gallery, the actual membership. The capacity of the building is about 400 people. So the membership floor with the makerspace is capped at around 40 people at once. The event space is about 200. The bar space is 100 people, and the top floor is around 50-ish. So we have different business opportunities with all of those. So if you want to start at the bar, we can get into how it's honestly like a blank canvas.
Right.
So we have, I can share this if it helps to actually see hard
Yeah.
numbers.
And also it's all in the small change documents too. So you can see all the performers and just click into it too, if you need more clarity.
Good. And it's in the business plan was the document that it was in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. And if you guys remember when I showed that, that was on the right-hand side of the screen towards the middle. Very nice breakdown. Okay.
It's a whole breakdown of everything in that business plan.
So this probably just needs to be updated to 2024. This is from my actual documents, not what's online. But
Mhm.
you can see in the basement, we're projecting 250 grand revenue, and that's like pretty small. Like one of a good friend of mine moved here from Austin. He's going to be our general manager of our bar. He's worked in the bar industry for over 15 years. From Austin, so 6th Street, it's a lot more packed of an environment of a bar industry. And I got him a job at a bar out here while he's waiting for us to open up. And nightly, they clear about 20 grand. So
Wow.
that's pretty favorable numbers. We don't want to be like, yo, we're gonna like clear like
Right,
top
right.
performing bar in Portland, but we feel good that we will, but we also don't want to like over glorify our numbers
Mhm.
so that banks can take us seriously, which has been another part of the challenge of trying to have these conversations with different lenders and being two young Black men with not a lot of credit history and always being kind of undermined with like the savviness and like the level of performance that we expect. But
Nice.
as you all know.
Yeah, right, right. Very good. Okay, no, I like that breakdown. So we've got a nice place for people to go see all of the numbers.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some of the questions. So Miss Beulah says straight up, she just said, I'm invested in the building. So she, Miss Beulah is all the way in tonight, okay?
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
we won.
Right, right. Anonymous says, how can I take it? And I think that says, how can I take advance from mounts from my state? Oh, how can I take advantage? I think is what Anonymous was trying to say. How can I take advantage from my state?
So if you know, you can stay. If you come to visit Portland, there's a 1-bedroom residency that you can stay at if you know want to check everything out. So there's always a place here for you in Portland. So just let us know and we'll take good care of you.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting because when I read that question, I thought it sounds like we're going to Portland. Like,
Come on over.
I mean, it sounds like we got a road trip to Portland. We're gonna add this to one of our destinations, right? We're gonna come hang out with you guys and listen to some live music. And I mean, it's a beautiful space. And the fact that you thought to add a residence on location, I think was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I wish you could fit 2 more in there, like, you know, and have like a little 3-unit or something, because I think that's gonna get a lot of circulation. I think you're gonna see probably more occupancy from that than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we thought about those things like, okay, what if it is like a residence, or can we put a pool on the roof, you know, stuff like that. But it's a historical building, so there are some limitations to what you can do to the building, but that also is part of the benefits of like investing. So there are like, it's an opportunity zone. So
The great thing, Cyrus, we spoke to the entire historic landmark committee in Portland, and the entire time their faces was just lit up. They couldn't even stop. Like, they were just like, we will let you guys do whatever you want to do. This is such an idea. And you have to understand, it's coming at a time that Portland really needs it. It's coming at a time where Soho House is opening up here. The Four Seasons hotels are coming here. So there's about
the
to be
Ritz-Carlton.
Ritz-Carlton. Yeah, there's about to be a big extraction of the next generation that is growing up with Portland, and it's at that brink right now to become a city to look out for. So
And
yeah,
to
Is
that
there a
question
first name?
also,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
we,
Sorry.
we,
Go ahead.
we are doing what we call a challenge coin.
Mhm.
So if you invest $1,500 or more, we'll give you a coin that will last for life. Anytime you come to our bar, you get a free drink. one per night. Don't lose a coin.
Don't lose the coin. It's a
We,
lifetime.
we are trying to
We have
like,
people getting a
get
coin
people-
tattooed on them so they don't lose it.
yeah, wearing it as a necklace or
Got my
whatever.
coin. Got my coin. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the investing part, that it pays back with the share of profits if you aren't able to come. Like that's part of the advantage of being a part equity owner.
Very, very good. Yeah, what's the target age, or is there one? Right? I think I'm 54, I think. Can I come if I was a creative? Is this a space
Oh,
that I
yes.
would also be welcomed into, or this is
Oh,
just
yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
nice?
Yeah, we're open to all, we
Yeah.
are BIPOC focused, Black focused, but obviously we're very inclusive. We want everybody to feel welcomed and have opportunity to explore and learn and brush elbows with people around them and learn and have fun,
And if you're not even over 21, you can come there for the coffee bar during the day and still enjoy the gallery aspect of things. So it's literally open to all age, only when the bar time starts. So
Nice.
that's also something to think about too, and revenue income aspect.
Very good. So, Anonymous says, I thought I saw a question here. Hold on. Maybe the admin removed it. But I want to go back to the deal terms. So this is a profit sharing opportunity, right? So you're putting 50% of cash flow up for profit sharing at a maximum of 2.5 return. Right. So there was a question in here, how do I make money as an investor? So those were the deal terms to whoever asked that question. And those can be found on the campaign page, right-hand side towards the top. So that's where you'll see that in that little square towards the top. Bernard says, my concern is you're offering 2.5 on the investment. When do you think I think he's trying to say, when will you be able to deliver this? So over what course of time?
Well, as soon as we're able to open, which we're expecting to be next year, early next year. So obviously it'll be once we have profits. So once we get the money, you get the money. It won't be an advanced plan. And that's kind of hard to say. It's just, everything is still in motion. Like this portion of the equity raise we're doing is also like a variable in this current SBA letter of interest we have, because the current amount that we have raised is affecting the stack because we have only 80 as of today. So if we're able to raise another 80, that could potentially help us keep the lights on and like pay for the actual, like there's like 50 grand loan charges just to have the loans. So it's like every
Isn't that crazy?
helps. It's like
It's a lot. Yeah.
these are some of the things that we've learned along the way, and we've been supported to be able to figure out. But we hope that we could open as soon as possible and get everybody paid as soon as possible. But it's just hard to get a definitive date until we actually have the complete stack figured out. And we'll update as that happens. If you invest, we have all the emails and information of all of our investors. We have an email sign up list on our website that will be updating the news as we get it. So we'll definitely be tapped in, and we'll have a cadence when you are an investor of quarterly. We'll be giving updates and providing information of payouts and expected dates and percentages and all that.
Very, very good. I was just going to say also, Bernard, if you looked at the business plan and look at the numbers, the 4-year projections, that could also be a good gauge to determine around about when we think it'll be profitable based on those numbers. And then that'll give you a good gauge on when repayment could happen. Is it at the 2-year mark? Is it at the 3-year mark? Or does it take 4 years to do it? So that's just something, definitely look at that information. Marvin has a great question here. Do you already have the proper liquor license that's required?
We are working primarily with the city very much. So until things are kind of moving forward to breaking ground, that would be definitely approved. We've already talked about it with the proper government channel, and they're definitely on our side.
We actually just got approved for all of our permits
Yeah.
for the construction. So we still need to apply for the OLCC, the Oregon Liquor License, OLLC. But that will be coming as soon as we have the actual renovations underway.
Very good. Anonymous says, I want to have a wedding. Give me insight starting from getting ready. So the salon, the makeup to the reception. Will vendors be in the space? So info not, so that they don't have to bring all the different vendors to it. As an investor, will I get a perk? So tell us about renting the space out for a wedding or for any kind of big event. Will you have an approved vendor list? Will you have vendors that you kind of work with regularly that know the space and are already familiar and comfortable with the space, can give discounts for the space? What would that look like if someone wanted to have a wedding or any big event?
I mean, if we can creatively wise in our head, if we can put it together as like a whole wedding, I mean, you've got the private room for yourself up there. Reception can be had downstairs and music and outdoors can be served, all that. So it's walkable. It's something that could be done. It's something that we haven't really put to proper channel, but for events and renting the place out. So places like Nike will host Sneaker Ball or anything like that. They're free to rent the entire building out at a cost. So that is a perk that comes with everything. So yes, it is doable.
For general purpose speaking, like if somebody were to want to rent the first floor out for an event, we would have a set price. We would have options for like equipment, tables, chairs. Do you need that? And then if there's liquor and food, we would provide that option if it's needed. So because we have the bar and we have the full kitchen, we would want to utilize our resources and include that into the package. Instead of bringing outside food and drink, it would be another capped on purchase point of whatever's needed for whatever event is being planned.
I absolutely love renting the whole building out. I just visualize what that could be when you have a space like that. You literally could move about this building in a logical order to entertain your guests all night long. Right? You start out one place for dinner, you go to another place for entertainment, you go to another place for after hours, like I see, and then you go upstairs and crash for the host of the party, right? I can see like this space, people not wanting to leave because there's going to be so much. I mean, being able to see the art that's displayed, that organically becomes an attraction, right? I mean, you guys, depending on the type of artistry you're going to have there, I can see people visiting this space just for that location, just coming to see the brilliant artists. And so I hope that you'll also in the marketing be highlighting the artists and the different creatives that are in the space, because I really think that's going to be the draw in a lot of scenarios.
One of the coolest things that you just said, we have this thing called First Thursday in Portland, where every building kind of just opens up and people can walk in and check out artists, but also capitalizing on like this being the first Black space. This will be the hottest place to come to on First Thursdays in Portland because it's Black owned. And everybody loves Black people in Portland. At least they wanted to just be a
what
thing.
It sounds like. We need to move to Portland, y'all.
We have an entire building to cater to First Thursday, and an artist will be featured, monthly, and we'll be able to, host the opening. We have a wine bar, so our wine bar will cater the entire thing. So there's a lot to be done in this one building. Yeah,
very, very impressive. Marvin said, "Wait, did you say you're gonna have a chef on the premises?"
Yes, we will. Yes.
In the basement. And there's a law in Portland also that if you serve liquor, you also have to serve food. So we'll have a kitchen, full kitchen, and that will also operate as our catering for whatever events we have.
Yeah.
Nice. Dean said, does the building have an elevator? Will the space be wheelchair accessible?
Yes, it does. And yes, it does.
And it's already seismically upgraded. We bought it with the seismic upgrades. We successfully defended those upgrades with the city because those upgrades were about 15 years ago and the codes changed, but we were able to prove that the structure was sound, and we did all the tests and everything. So it's a beautiful building. It's in great shape.
A
Great
lovely home.
bones.
Nice. Bonnie said, who or what is your competition?
That's a funny one. Our main competition, I think, right now would be like a Soho House or a gallery like the Portland Art Museum or something like that. That would be like our competition. But I think with the attention that the building itself is getting right now, I mean, it's sky's the limit right now. We'll give Soho House a run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different like facets to this space. There's not really anything like it. Like there's little segments of it that could have a competitor here or there, but they don't have the other things that are attached to that one piece. So I think we have like a very unique offering that Portland hasn't seen before. So we're really excited to see how people engage with it.
Nice. Ms. Patrice says, will you two be quitting your day jobs and at what point? So that's the first part of her question. We'll sit with that one first before we move on to the next.
I will be definitely running the studio on the 3rd floor for sure. That's something that I've known how to do for the last 15 years. So I will be on the premises basically every day.
If we take off, who
Yeah.
knows? Definitely will. But
Yeah.
as of right now, today, I won't be. And that helps us, honestly, because it's a stable income. I love Nike. I don't have any plans to leave anytime soon. I definitely want to maintain the relationships here. Have full support from all of my managers from day one. Even my VP put us in contact with the branding agency who did all of our branding. So it's definitely like a great vibe here, and environment and family. There's a BRS, it's called BRS Studio. Nike used to be BRS, Blue Ribbon Sports, and it's like a playhouse for our designers here. So the 2nd floor is kind of a similar vibe to that. And I've talked with them and all of our designers at Nike about what we're doing, and everybody's super excited to help, and even like help us understand like the different nitty gritties, like the costs, the operations, the troubleshooting. And so I think it's definitely been a benefit to have this network and community. And you know, who knows if we just like skyrocket and it just becomes something great like we think it will. I think that day will come. I actually had a promotion earlier this year, and my manager was excited to say, I can't wait till we're talking about your exit. And like, I want that to really work out for you. So that day hopefully will come. It's not coming tomorrow or anytime soon, but it will eventually hopefully work out that way.
Very nice. Ms. Patrice, the second part of the question says, you have a diverse group of businesses. Who will be doing the management? So I think, Wale, you answered that. And then have you identified your management team? Managing a bar is different from a gallery. So you'll be there to oversee the creative space, right? But who does the rest of the stuff?
So that's the great thing is one of Cyrus's childhood friend is currently managing a bar right now. That's the reason why he moved to Portland, was to manage our bar. So we do have a management team set for the bar. We also hired a wine specialist, the sommelier, who's going to actually restock the wine, who's going to order all the wine. So we have all of that team already in place and ready to go.
And we'll have a more detailed hiring phase once we actually have a money like roadmap. And once we start breaking ground, it'll probably be about 3 months before we open doors that we'll actually start interviewing. And we already have a head count, about 30 to 40 people, depending on how the businesses open up and shake out.
Nice. So the total, if I'm not mistaken, was $750,000 that you're raising total, max, right? Can you talk high level at what some of that breakdown is with the funds being used for? So how much of it is renovations versus, you know, design or staff? Like what's the breakdown?
So it's
High level, it doesn't have to be specific.
high level, it's the portion that we're willing to give equity up for. So this is really the portion that's set aside to give back to owners that want to hop on board and help us like make this thing. So the actual use of the money, like we're paying for the building right now and it's not open. Like there's bills to pay, there's all the expenses that you would expect. But then in our actual business plan, there's laid out the sources and uses. So some of that comes from micro lenders who might be offering like 700 grand in our actual capital raise for the entire cost of the project, which we're going to have a oh man, I'm blanking on what it's called, the audit of like what the building actually costs.
We're gonna have
Oh, the appraisal.
The
appraisal,
appraisal,
yeah, we're gonna
we
have
have
an
appraisal that's going to help affect and inform some of those numbers. But so that would go towards FF&E, which is like the equipment, the furniture. We also have a local company called Chown Hardware, which is committed to donating 10 grand's worth, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they might be able to just outfit and trick out the entire apartment if we wanted to do that. And they also have brands they work with that might want to sponsor different portions of the buildings. So that's that piece. There's also the actual $2.1 million renovation costs for the entire building and the purchasing costs of the building, which we've already kind of done with the down payment that we're currently paying the sellers with 4.175 interest rate right now. So it equals about 2.1 for the building costs, 2.1 for renovations, and like 750 for the actual FF&E.
Nice, very good. Miss Jackie says, are there any plans to expand or create franchises across the country?
Absolutely. I
Thought
think
about
once
it.
we, yeah,
Talk to us about, I know you got to get this one open first, but talk to
gotta get
us
this one
about the
open first.
franchise.
But we've got to get this one open first. But I mean, part of one of the reasons of like even choosing the name, we were talking to, Cyrus's dad a while back, and it goes think globally and think expansion. So that is definitely something that we've had in mind and that crossed our mind. So definitely we'll let you know when we get to that point. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, you won't have to let us know too much because we're going to be part of the newsletter of investors. So we gonna know when we get to that
Yes,
point.
you will. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. You'll be there.
Very, very good. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A if you have any additional questions. So we said potentially a spring opening, right? Okay. Very, very good. I'm not playing about the road trip. I think it's time. I've never been to Portland. I think now's as good a time as any.
It's a great time. It's actually quite funny. There's an event this Friday called Black Friday that we're part of, which is a documentary that's been shot of Cyrus and I and the things we've been doing in the city. There's 400 tickets, I think, selling out already. So on Friday, 400 Black beautiful people in Portland are going to come to this beautiful theater and sit down and watch us really talk about this thing that is really dear to our heart. So there's a bit of a rally around us, and this thing that we're doing has been such a success story. We actually also just got awarded like Trailblazer Award. We're just nominated for that, and we just said we haven't done anything yet, but it's like, but it's the city's with us, and the city's really showing out.
And it's not just us, like the Black Friday concept, is like supporting Black businesses in Portland. We are like one of the featured businesses. DJ OG1, who's like the Trailblazer DJ. Sorry, I'm in a room with automatic lights. And some other local Black brokers who work to help get other Black businesses started financially. Like we actually met them on a podcast. We're like, oh wow, this is perfect timing. Like we're in the middle of our fundraise, so we're gonna have follow-up questions. It's gonna be a great networking too. So
very, very good. I don't see any additional questions from the community. I don't have any additional questions. Let me look at my notes here. 5,000 square feet per floor, right?
Yeah, so it totals 20,000 square feet in the
Total
entire.
20. That's a huge space. That's a
Massive.
beautiful, beautiful space. Ah.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead. Oh, we got another question. I was going to give my final statements, but Anonymous says, how about small town America? Do you have one expansion? I'm not sure what this question is, Anonymous. Can you rewrite it so that it's a little clearer, dear? Do you have one?
Have plans to open one in a smaller town.
In like
Oh, maybe.
20
Oh,
years.
in 5, 10, 25 years. Okay. Okay.
Once this one takes off, definitely we'll do our best to get around all the states and everywhere.
Good. Well, this was exciting. This is absolutely a great business model. The building is beautiful. The plans that you have for it, absolutely divine. I'm going to read Ms. Patricia's question in a moment, but I'll do my final statements. You know, I love that this space is going to bring Black people together to be able to be creative, to collaborate, right? To be able to have a safe space to exist, right? Let's just start there, right? We know that that's oftentimes a challenge. We are limited from doing certain things and going certain places. And so we never feel like we have just these safe spaces. The other thing I know, my son is a creative, and the thing I know about creatives is that they need to be around other creatives. And so the fact that you're going to have that fellowship, you know, part of it as well, where people are going to be able to bounce ideas off of each other, be inspired by one another. Again, the collaborations, this is going to absolutely be more than just a place to be entertained and this is not a co-working space. This is right. I mean, it's not. I hear you. I see it. This is so much more than that. So much more than that. I mean, it truly is. It's almost as if you're going to create a university of sorts, because I can see the teaching and the learning and all of that's going to go on that third floor. Like the magic is going to be happening on that third floor. I mean, we're going to see so many great people come out of that. You know how you hear about different accelerators and incubators, you know, like a Y Combinator or something like that. And you hear all these great businesses that came out of Y Combinator. We're going to hear about all of the amazing ideas and businesses and art that came out of Creative Homies. I mean, that is going to be a thing. You guys are going to make a name for yourself as being a space where people thrive. And so I am super excited for you and what this space is going to bring. And I hope you meet that spring deadline because I know you've got a lot of people eager to get in there and get started. And I know you all are as well. So I'm super excited about it.
It's everywhere we go in town. Everyone just asks, when is this opening? It's an everyday thing. So we're excited to get it going, and we're excited to get it opened up to everyone.
Yeah, very nice. Ms. Patrice says, if you were moving to the Portland area and wanted to purchase land, where would you move to?
I think it's a good time, you know, to start buying as much property. If you're Black, you know, it's time to get into it right now. We were so lucky by the time that we got into that part of time, we got into buying this building, everything was pretty going up at this point. So inland proper is really good. So come into Portland as much as you can. We need more Black, we need more color and diversity and all of that. So anywhere in Portland is really great. The city is really, really on a good rise.
Okay, very nice. So anywhere inland, Ms. Patrice. So Anonymous is saying, I still don't understand individual investment. Do I invest 100 to 500? So 500 is the minimum, Anonymous, right? And so you invest $500. And then once the company starts to cash flow, and at the announced time period, you will be in a pool of people to receive 50% of that cash flow, right? So if you put in 500 and I put in 500 and everybody on here tonight put in 500, we have put in a percentage of the total amount that has been raised, and then 50% of the profits will be put up towards paying us back at 2.5 times what we invested. So that's how it works. I suggest you go to the campaign page, look at the detail again, look at the business plan, look at all of the information on the campaign page, but that's a summary of how the deal itself works and how the terms work. So I hope that was enough, Anonymous, to help you better understand.
Perfect.
Anonymous says, how did you both meet? Why Cyrus as a partner? Why Wale as a partner?
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
It's actually quite funny that you said that, because looking for a partner for something like this, we both were just cooped up during the pandemic, and we've known each other for quite some time before that. But one of the biggest thing about Cyrus is how compassionate and how really great, kind human he is. His taste in music and his taste in art, and just the person he has become is amazing. I'll tell you a story that I told Devin a while back. There was one day we're in front of the building and Cyrus's car had just been broken into, and his laptop and work and everything was stolen. And there was an houseless person on the street. You know, during all those crazy, stressful times, Cyrus was able to not even think about himself. He thought about the houseless person and asked that person, have you eaten today? He literally went to grab that person food, and he's going through something really, really hard at that time. But he was selfless enough to see that, you know, his stuff is going to be taken care of, but this person is hungry. And if you can have someone that is that compassionate as your business partner and looks out for you on a normal basis, I mean, that's a good person at heart. So it's really important to find people who don't look down on people. You know, my parents have always told us this, you know, the only time you look down on someone is when you're helping them out. And to have a partner like that, that's willing to do that every time, yeah, that's a great business partner right there. So, and he's a brother to me, so that's really big. So yeah.
Well, thank you, man. I love you.
Love you too.
Wale, the first time I met Wale, I was walking into his apartment. Like, we had a mutual friend, and he literally like greeted me with open arms. And like, when you meet him, if you meet him, he will make you feel like the most loved family member you could ever be. And just, he has a way with people, and he's so outgoing and social, and like, we complement each other in the opposite ways, because I can be a little bit more reserved and like, you know, a little just inside myself sometimes, and like, he can really bring out the best in people and just welcome you into his home without even knowing who you are, and just make you feel like, you know, y'all have known each other your whole life. So he was the first person I thought to even ask, like, who would I want to share a studio space with? I'm super like OCD and even like particular as a designer, and like, he's like this free flowing like photographer who just captures like people's essence. So like, we just really balance each other in a really amazing way, and it just kind of, the stars just really aligned.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Wow, that was a great question, and even better answers. It really, really was. It's a blessing to find a business partner that you can build something special with. And so I'm glad you guys found each other in such a way, because I really do think this space is going to change lives. And so it sounds like the two of you are the perfect two people to make it happen. So congratulations in advance for what you've already done by acquiring the building, right? That was the big part, right? I mean, brothers with some real estate, that's some sexy shit. So congratulations for that. Phase one, check. And so it's going to be, you know, ready for the next phase. So it really exciting. Guys in the community, you know why we're here. We're here to support our Black founders and help them get to the next level of success. And so, you know, being able to manage the expenses of the existing building and getting ready for, you know, the grand opening, they need some money, right? We know this story, right? Black entrepreneurs need some money. What, really? Of course they do, right? And so that's why we're here. And so, please consider investing, do your due diligence, look at the campaign page. There's a space where you can ask additional questions if you think of something that you didn't ask here this evening. But more than anything else, you guys know what I'm going to say. Share the campaign link with your family and your friends and post it on your social, like tell people about it, right? You don't have to live in Portland to be able to benefit from this space, right? Because it's an investment. But think about how beautiful this space is going to be. I mean, this is the place we're going to see, celebrities hanging out at and all coming. This is that kind of space. I mean, did you see that design? This is that kind of space, guys. This space is going to do amazing things, and we need to do our part with helping them get there. So share this campaign link. They need more eyes on the campaign. Yes, it's going to be open for a little while, but we all know how that works, right? They need money now. They need money now to get this thing moving. The faster it opens, or the sooner it opens, is definitely going to be better. And things take time, right? If there's some renovations, we think it's going to take 90 days, but then it takes 120. So we got to, get these things moving and really get started. So my ask tonight, more than anything else, is share the campaign link, please, please, please. Anonymous, I know you said I still need an example for the investment. So I'm not sure what else we need to say. I don't know, guys, did I miss anything critical? I mean, the way I explained it, I feel like I gave an example, Anonymous. I mean, the deal terms are there on the page. Maybe that'll be a little clearer for you, because we do have to, but based on SEC guidelines, we do have to be very careful not to overpromise, right? Which is why I said the deal terms and didn't have the gentleman do it, because I want to always protect my founders from slipping up and promising, because this is an investment. Nothing is guaranteed. And so I think the deal terms they're written really well, in my opinion, based on deal terms that I've looked at for the last 3 years of doing this. And so it's a 2.5 return on your investment at the yet to be determined payout date, based on the opening and when cash flow starts coming in. So all of that is kind of a variable. 50% of cash flow is what will be put up. So if they make $100,000 in cash flow, 50,000 of that goes back to the investors. And so that's kind of a summary of what that means at a 2.5 return. I hope that was good. I apologize if I'm not explaining it well to you, Anonymous. So Anonymous says, I put in 500 and go from there with the example. Okay, I think I did that. So you 2.5, right? So if you give 500, 2.5, so that's 2.5 of yours, right? So what's that? 20, what's my math?
2.5.
2.5 is
Wait.
$2,500, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, why that's
We're
easy
artists,
math.
okay? Don't.
Right. But
We have help.
right, so that's up to $2,500. So that would be the math. 2.5 times what you put in return.
So 5, and then half of 5.
So I'm sorry. So I said 25. So 1,250. Yes.
Yeah.
1,250. Yeah, not 25. 1,250. So that's how that would work out. Did that make sense, Anonymous? Let me know if it didn't. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry about that, Anonymous. I'm glad we got there though. That's what it's about. That's all that matters, is we got where we needed to be. We want to remove all the barriers of entry. So very, very good. Any other questions? All right, gentlemen, I'll let Wale, you go first, and then we'll let Cyrus bring us home. Any final statements for the community?
Cyrus and I came from, not much, and we've done all of our best to kind of create something better for our community. This is something that is very needed, and this is something that is really important to us as we take it as very serious. We know what we've put ourselves into. We've stayed up till 3, 4 a.m. planning these things. We've gone over back and forth planning this thing. So show us the support and show us the love. And we promise you this thing, it's going to be something that you're going to be proud of. It's going to live forever, and it's going to be everlasting, and it's going to stand the time. Music, creativity, painters, all these people have lived a really good life, and we just really, really want to show Portland that it needs us. We're here to stay. We're here to build. We're here to keep building, and we're here to show everyone like this is life. Sometimes it's hard, but we're going to do our best to make it easy. So when you walk into that building, you just feel the ease, you feel the comfort. No one is ever going to come to you and look at you in a way that it's not supposed to be looked. No one will look down on you. No one would ask you, have you been helped 50 million times? People will come up to you and ask you a question. You'll feel comfortable, you'll feel seen, and you'll feel present. So support us, and we'll take good care of you.
Nice. Very, very good.
Wale. Yeah, I mean, so often, you come across a space and you're like, wow, like how did this even happen? Like, how is this possible? And we want to feel that for our community. Like a lot of the times, those buildings, those establishments, those programs that are well built to the nines aren't for us. We might have our slice of pie over here and it's a little underserved, but we love it. We make the best out of it. And we're trying to do something that's going to elevate that experience. And we are really excited to be able to have this opportunity to not only, build that, because if we don't, who will? It's like, we can't just wait around and pray that somebody's going to come along and make this thing for you happen. You got to get your hands dirty, and we're willing to do that. Not just for us, it's a business, but it's not just for us. It's for all of us. And we want to be able to be that next hand of the baton when somebody needs to reach out to figure out how to make their dreams come true. We want to be able to help somebody up who has an idea but doesn't know how to make it happen. And a lot of people have dreams and goals and thoughts, and sometimes aren't sure where to take that first step or are scared to. And if you ask anybody who's in a place where you want to be or that you think is an amazing spot, it all starts with that first step. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in the right direction, but it's something. And we really want to be able to be a place where people can come to learn how to take that first step, no matter how big they think it could be. So hope y'all can help us.
Beautiful. And shout out to, I'm just listening to the story on how you started. Shout out to the hotel owners, because they could have just allowed you to keep using their space for these things, right? So shout out to them for saying to you, yeah, you could do it here. There's a building down the street for sale, and we're going to help you figure out how to buy it. Shout out to them. I don't know the name of the hotel, but
Society Hotel.
Society Hotel. Yeah. So when we go visit Portland, we need to stay there, right? We need to
blocks away.
So shout out to them for doing that. I mean, they could have easily just kept hosting you, and you bring all your events and all of the spaces you wanted to create and all of that stuff. You could have just done it in their space, but they empowered you and took you under their wing as mentors. That's what's up right there. And so that speaks volumes about, first of all, the two of you, right? That they saw something in you, that they were willing to take a chance on and spend their time. But that you also took advantage of that. So often we say we're out here by ourselves and we don't realize that people are trying to feed, kind of pour into us and help us. But you guys, you noticed that, you saw the opportunity and you took advantage of it. And that's not a small thing. That's a huge thing.
And the
So
thing
it's super
about Society Hotel is Jessie, the owner, was the first one we showed the deck to, and she literally asked us this question: do you want to rent or do you want to create generational wealth?
Hmm.
That was the first thing she said to us. And we said generational wealth. And they haven't left our side since that day. We've become family. We go to their house for dinner. We work on paperwork together. It's become a family affair. And her partner, Jonathan, is a contractor who has worked on a lot of things. So it's always down to the ground. We got each other's back, and they've been with us for so long, since day one. So we're not going anywhere. So if you have a chance to support Society Hotel too, when you come and visit, you should. They've got really amazing places.
Yeah, wonderful. I just needed to circle back to that.
That's
Because
great.
that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So often we don't get to the level that you guys have already accomplished because nobody tells us how.
Yeah.
And so, and that is absolutely wonderful. So thank you for being guest 100, right? Thank you so very much. I pray that the community shows up and shows out for you to help you on this journey to success. So thank you guys very, very much for joining us. Thank you to the community, to everybody watching in Facebook, to everybody who'll see this on any of our other streaming platforms. Y'all know what we got to do. We 3 years in. We 100 founders in. Y'all know what we got to do. Let's show these brothers some love.
Thank you so much. You guys
Right.
have a
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.